This is Roland Smith in the Channel 9 newsroom. A bus full of Girl Scouts crashes in California, killing 5. And an Amtrak train jumps the tracks and rips apart in South Carolina.
From the newsroom, this is Channel 9 News with Roland Smith, Lloyd Lindsay Young's weather, and Russ Salzberg on sports.
Good evening, everyone. A dozen people are dead tonight in 2 disasters, one on a highway, the other on a railroad. We began on a narrow back road outside of Palm Springs, California. This afternoon, a bus carrying about 60 Girl Scouts rolled over as it went through a turn. The mangled wreckage came to rest on its side, a few feet from the road, down the hill, down the mountain. 5 people are dead, more than 50 injured. The chartered yellow school bus was one of 3 carrying Girl Scouts back from an outing. The cause of the wreck is still unknown, but it had been raining off and on throughout the day. Another accident today, this one in South Carolina. An Amtrak train jumped the tracks. Passengers were thrown from their seats and tossed about the cars. There, 7 are dead, more than 70 injured. Reporter Steve Crump is live now in South Carolina with the latest developments. Steve?
Well, the latest from the scene is that there are work crews and investigators still trying to clear the wreckage and more or less find facts at this point. The wreck site itself about a quarter of a mile down these tracks behind me here. And at this point, a lot of the folks who are on that train, it will be a ride that they'll never forget. 426 passengers on board at the time of the derailment. The Silver Star heading to the nation's northeast. It departed Tuesday afternoon from South Florida. 6 cars left the tracks, tossing passengers from their seats.
They found me on the track about 200 yards away. The side of the car was literally blown out. And by the grace of God, I'm standing here talking to you right now.
It was all scary. We didn't know what was happening.
Investigators say the train was traveling at 79 miles per hour when it collided with empty coal cars on a parallel track.
It slid over to the cars on the siding here, and the cars in the siding down there were sideswiped as a result of the train being derailed. That's what caused the damage to the equipment and the injuries that occurred.
120 people injured and taken to local hospitals. More than 300 sent to a shelter set up at a local high school. And unfortunately, 7 bodies were taken from the scene. While there's no reason, investigators say it could be 6 to 8 months before there's an official cause.
Operations, survival factors and emergency response, the mechanical aspects, the track and maintenance of way, the signals, and the human performance aspects.
Now, we did find out some things about the crew that was operating the train earlier tonight at that press briefing. We found out that they got on board in Jacksonville, Florida, a crew of 6. Already they've gone through drug and alcohol tests, and the results from those particular tests should be back in a few weeks. Back to you guys in New York.
Steve, a quick question for you. Is there any specific area that they're focusing on in the investigation?
Well, there's a whole lot of factors to be determined, but one thing that they do want to find out, and that is more or less how well the switching equipment worked. More specifically to say, one thing they want to find out is how a lot of the trains remained on the track and others derailed.
Okay, thank you. Steve Crump reporting for us live in South Carolina. Tonight, some of the people who got out with their lives are blasting Amtrak. Many wounded passengers were transported by bus to Washington and then were taken by train to New York. One Newark man described what he saw.
There were people trapped inside the metal, people screaming and crying that we couldn't get to, we couldn't help. Myself, I was trying to help one gentleman who was had multiple lacerations to the lower extremities, upper extremities bleeding, and unfortunately, we weren't able to help him.
Everybody was just holding on. No one knew the intensity of the accident until we actually were outside and we saw the gaping holes and the last car, which was totally mangled. And people, the paramedics were late. Amtrak itself, they weren't doing anything. You know, paramedics weren't doing anything. It was a man there, critically injured. He died because they had not responded in time.
Well, those waiting to hear what happened to the loved ones, the day has been long indeed. We go live to Reg Wells at Penn Station with that part of the story. Reg?
Well, Roland, it's a long way from Camden, South Carolina to Penn Station in New York, and for all of those people on that train today, this has been a very long day. And for the people here now, the waiting for many of them has been pure agony. Despite the lateness of the hour, Penn Station in New York is still crowded. People awaiting the arrival of train 8292. watch and listen for every announcement.
Approximately 10 o'clock, the passengers from these from these 7 buses that are en route from Camden, these passengers should be in Washington Terminal and, in fact, en route to New York at that time.
For many people waiting here tonight, the news was good.
She really didn't know that much, and she was pretty calm, so I assumed that they were, they were in the high school at the time, and they
didn't seem to have a recollection of the derailment?
No. No, said she was about 5 cars back from what had happened.
However, several passengers who survived the derailment without injury had other problems. The Continental Airlines plane they were on developed engine trouble and had to make an emergency landing in Charlotte. They then took a U.S. air flight to Newark. They were displeased at the way things were handled at the derailment site.
People weren't telling anybody to relax. There were the conductors and everybody else they were just pacing around, running in circles. And and the only people that helped out were the passengers.
And there was a man bleeding to death in there, okay? He was bleeding for about 30 minutes. Nobody came to help him. Nobody assisted him. Nobody gave him first aid or nothing. So he died. He bled to death because nobody helped him.
Others also said it was difficult getting information.
Nothing. With nothing. Nothing. Totally useless. Can't even give you a list of the dead.
It was a long process, but finally, we got everything straightened out. They had a school set up where the injured were taken and a hospital number and everything.
How much time did that take?
It took a good 3 or 4 hours.
So to recap, many of the people who are well enough to travel were taken from Camden, South Carolina to Washington by bus. They left there about 10 o'clock this morning. They arrived in Washington at 8 o'clock tonight. They were then put on a special Amtrak train that left Washington at 9 p.m. It's due in here around 1 o'clock in the morning. There are about 187 people that were taken on 7 buses and then put on the Amtrak train. They're due in here in about 3 hours. Roland?
Okay, thank you, Reg. Certainly it is a day of sadness in different parts of this country. A quick update for you out in Palm Springs where that bus rolled off a cliff. With Girl Scouts on board, we now have the figure of 7 young Girl Scouts dead, more than 50 injured. We'll keep you updated throughout this broadcast. Meantime, still coming up for you, the chilling words of a confessed mass killer. Also, Imelda Marcos says that she's out of here. And Pat reviews Charlie Sheen in Hot Shots.
Channel 9 News is brought to you by Diamante from Mitsubishi.
Mitsubishi Motors dealers are giving you what you've always wanted, fame and fortune. You'll get fame when you buy a new Mitsubishi Galant, named Motor Trend's top import buy in a sports sedan 2 years in a row. And fortune? Right now, factory-to-dealer incentives can save you a fortune on the Galant. It's fame and fortune time at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer now. Save with factory-to-dealer incentives on Galant now at your tri-state Mitsubishi Motors dealer.
Things were out of control. Lighting awful. Heat. What heat? Superintendent's nightmare. So in comes Honeywell. They revamp our lighting controls, our heating and cooling equipment. And suddenly we're saving energy, money, a learning environment. 180-degree turn. This school's come a long way. The kids have to.
When people depend on you, depend on Honeywell.
Honey, we're talking grounds for divorce.
It's so bad you can taste it. The sticky, pasty film inside your mouth.
It's pretty bad.
Ugh. You wake up with every morning of your life. Morning breath.
I'll be right back.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Antiseptic Scope kills on contact 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Come and get it. I'm all yours.
Tuck her up, sweetie pie.
Antiseptic Scope. It's the best thing first thing in the morning.
Your kiss is ready.
Vous souvenez-vous comment se faisaient les appels à l'étranger? La communication n'était pas toujours très bonne et le prix était si élevé. Mais maintenant, voici Sprint World, avec nos prix les plus bas. Et chez Sprint, nous vous assurons des communications claires et de qualité. Et ça, ce sont 2 choses qu'on sait apprécier dans n'importe quelle langue.
In 1957, the future Mrs. Peg Bundy made a decision that would change the face of American television.
Don't you want to grow up to be a good little homemaker?
No! When I grow up, I'm going to marry the first poor guy who makes a pass at me and spend every cent he makes. And I'm never cooking again.
Now, Peg Bundy is married with children. From bold choices comes great comedy. Coming in September on Universal 9.
It was history in the making in Moscow today. Presidents Bush and Gorbachev signed an arms reduction treaty. The Strategic Arms Pact calls for the superpowers to reduce their long-range nuclear arsenals by about 30%. The two leaders also joined forces for peace in the Middle East. In an unprecedented move, they announced that they would issue invitations for peace talks in October. A surprise move by the Philippine government. They are allowing former First Lady Imelda Marcos to go home. Gay is here now with the story.
Roland, Mrs. Marcos met with reporters outside her townhouse with tears in her eyes. She says while she's happy to be going home, she's sad to be going without her husband.
If you are afraid to go home, then you should be afraid to go anywhere else.
After 5.5 years in exile, Imelda Marcos is not afraid of going home. The Philippines government has ended its ban on the former First Lady, but there's a catch. She must return home to face trial for tax fraud, and she will not be allowed to bring the body of her husband, Ferdinand Marcos, back for burial.
If my presence is imperative to go home without the remains of my husband to face trial, then I will do so.
Mrs. Marcos intends to return home, even though her attorney, James Lynn, advises against it, doubting a trial in her homeland would be a fair one.
It's not my personal opinion that she should go back, but it is her decision that she's going back. And
support her then?
Of course I support her. That's her decision to make.
But Mrs. Marcos believes otherwise. A year ago, a New York federal jury acquitted her on racketeering charges, and she is confident she will be exonerated again. Meantime, it's believed the Aquino government has refused to allow her to return with her husband's body for fear it would disrupt the country.
On the contrary, I think the bringing home of the remains of the late President Marcos will start the unification of our country, and laying to rest the remains of President Marcos in the Philippines will hopefully terminate the Marcos issue.
Mrs. Marcos says her #1 priority, her #1 obsession, is to bring her husband's body back for burial. Now, if that means she'll have to face prosecution, so be it. Roland?
How come her attorney feels that she won't get a fair trial there?
Because things are done differently in the Philippines. In the Philippines, they do not have jury trials. All trials are done before a judge. And since the Aquino government chooses the judge, he feels that they will be biased.
Okay, thank you. Jurors in the Happy Land trial here listened to a confession today. A police videotape was played in court. On the tape, Julio Gonzalez explains through an interpreter why and how he set the fire. He tells police that afterwards he took a bus to a friend's house and told what he had done.
The wife opened the door, the wife of my friend. I started crying. She asked me, what did you do? I said to her that I had killed my wife. That I had argued with a person in the club. And I had set the club on fire.
Gonzalez is charged in the murders of 87 people who died in that fire. In Ohio, more bones were found at the childhood home of accused killer Jeffrey Dahmer. Jenny Ferguson reports.
The home's current owner watched but said nothing as crews searched his property, including 31-year-old Jeffrey Dahmer's old bedroom, where when sprayed with special chemicals, they found no trace of blood from 19-year-old hitchhiker Stephen Hicks. Summit County Sheriff David Troutman was surprised.
In that room is where the killing was supposed to have taken place. It was supposed to have taken place in the bedroom. And then he was taken from the bedroom outside down into the crawl space. And that's where he was dismembered.
But in that same spot yesterday, investigators found blood, hair, bits of clothing, and a handprint. Today, the crawl space yielded parts of a skull and arm. And even more, apparently, human bones were found today in the wooded yard, where Dahmer says he scattered Hicks' sledgehammer-smashed body parts. Summit County prosecutor Lynn Slaby says he's ready to indict Dahmer now, even if DNA tests tests reveal these are not the bones of Stephen Hicks.
We may not have the physical body to identify in the courtroom. I'm convinced that we have a crime scene, we have a suspect, and enough to go forward with the prosecution.
Crews will continue to search through Friday, then a final walkthrough is planned. And after Milwaukee authorities finish with Jeffrey Dahmer, he'll return here to Summit County, where 13 years ago his self-confessed trail of sex, dismemberment, and cannibalism began. Reporting from Bath Township, Ohio, I'm Jenny Ferguson.
Now, we told you we'd keep you updated on that tragedy that happened in Palm Springs. 7 Girl Scouts dead, more than 50 injured as a bus rolled off a mountaintop. We have on the phone right now Ivan Kasovic, a park ranger at the Mount San Jacinto park out there. Mr. Kasovic, can you describe the territory, the kind of road that this bus fell off of?
Sure. What the situation is here, as far as the terrain is concerned, there's a very steep road which leads from the valley floor of the Coachella Valley up to about 2,000 feet where the bottom tram station is. And that's where people board the tram and then ride up at about another 6,000 feet to the top of the mountain. It's where the state park is. That road's very steep and has some treacherous turns on it. And the bus, for whatever reason, lost control or mechanical failure, went off at one of those very bad turns near the bottom of the hill.
Mr. Kasovic, I understand that you have driven by that area. Today we're told it was raining off and on. Do you think that could have been a factor?
I wouldn't like to say at this time. You probably know more of the details of what's been said than I do, having just arrived, just gone by the scene. But I would say that I did see a lot of loose gravel on the road, and it has been such a long time since it's rained in the desert that oftentimes there is a buildup of oil and things like that does get slick. If that caused the accident, I really have no idea.
Do you recall, or is there anything in your memory or knowledge that anything like this has happened in the past at this particular area or this roadway?
Yes, apparently this road, and again, I'm not terribly familiar with the area, but this road has claimed a number of lives, and it has been a problem in the past.
Okay, thank you. That's Park Ranger Ivan Kasovic reporting for us from Palm Springs, where, as I said before, 7 young Girl Scouts perished today in a tragic accident. More than 50 others were injured. Still coming up for you tonight on Channel 9 News, Pat with the madcap comedy Hot Shots, and later MTV growing older and getting bigger. But first, here's Lloyd with the recreational forecast.
Thank you very much, Roland. Let me show you the conditions before we get into the recreation. 77 degrees in the weather lab now. The humidity is very high tonight, 87%. We have a light breeze out of the southwest, about 5 miles an hour, and the barometric pressure is 30.06 and steady. Now let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities as we head on towards the weekend. Have some good suggestions for you. For today, the Farmers Market Outdoor Concert Series in Queens will be Friday. This weekend, the Latin jazz music will be featured. And in New Jersey, it's Up and Away over the weekend in Hunterdon County. They're holding the Hot Air Balloon Festival at Alexandria Airport. Enjoy balloon and plane rides, competitions and food and crafts. And in Brooklyn, the Classical Music Theater weekend, the Kings County Shakespeare Company presents Much Ado About Nothing. That's all at Prospect Park at the Band Shell. How about some beach activity? Hey, why not? The weather's going to be heating up. Let me show you what to expect. Your ocean temperature 75. That's pretty comfortable. Hopefully it'll warm up even more before the summer's over. Sunburn index on a scale of 1 to 10, a big 8. Be careful. Maybe a half hour in the direct rays of the sun would be enough. Visibility 8 miles in hazy sun. Your wind southwesterly about 10 miles an hour. And the wave heights 2 feet or less. We'll be back a little later with the complete weather. Don't go away.
The recreational forecast is brought to you by Coors.
On my first job back in the 60s, I traveled out west a lot. The only place original Coors was sold, which made me a very popular guy. Here's Steve swapping me his old stereo for a case. I think he took me. I used to bring Coors back in my trunk. It was like home delivery, fresh from the Rockies. Ta-da! After I got married, I changed jobs, but not beers. Hey, the best things in life never change.
Kentucky Fried Chicken asked a leading authority to taste our honey barbecue wings. Tender, juicy wings in a savory barbecue sauce with a touch of honey. honey barbecue wings from KFC. The experts are already buzzing about it. And now, honey barbecue wings come in the KFC variety bucket. Get 2 of your favorite kinds of chicken, plus honey barbecue wings for just $9.99. $9.99. A pretty sweet deal.
Could you beat the pro? Join Russ Salzberg each week as local golf competitors look for that stroke of luck to beat the pro.
Try and beat the pro. This week's pro is my coverage of the Mets.
Water doesn't scare you, does it?
No, not at all. It wasn't that tough a shot.
Help fight leukemia with Beat the Pro. Sponsored in part by Chemical Bank and Schweppes. Watch Beat the Pro Sundays at 10 on the Channel 9 News.
The human shoe. It poses no threat. The aerosol spray, roaches can just hide inside walls. The household fogger, roaches can simply avoid the area. The combat roach control system. After roaches eat the poison, they carry it inside the walls, where more roaches eat it and die. With combat, there is no hope. There is no escape.
ShopRite does more to save you more.
Only ShopRite saves me money in so many ways.
With everyday low prices.
Hey, sale or no sale, I can always save money here.
Over 1,500 items on sale each week.
This week at ShopRite, USDA Choice Boneless Bottom Round Roast, just $1.49 a pound. 3 cans of Green Giant Niblet Corn, $1. And Flavor King Ice Cream or Sherbet, 99 cents a half gallon.
Just makes sense to shop at ShopRite.
We save you money.
More money.
ShopRite does it right.
Never met a man I didn't like.
Charges of racial discrimination have been filed against the Broadway musical The Will Rogers Follies. Actors Equity says the producers discriminated against blacks in their casting choices. The show opened without a single black performer. It now has 1 in the chorus and 1 substitute. It's going to be solo for Jay Leno. He takes over as host of The Tonight Show in May. Johnny Carson is retiring. Leno says he has no plans to replace Ed McMahon. The comedian says he's never had a sidekick, and he won't start now. But Charlie Sheen is shooting for laughs in a new movie. He plays a hotshot pilot. Pat Collins is here with a look.
Well, this is the kind of movie it is. Hot Shots wants to spoof those flyby movies like Top Gun in the same way Naked Gun spoofs those cop shows. It doesn't work, and here's one reason why. Lieutenant Frank Drebin is innately funnier than the hotshot pilot played by Charlie Sheen.
Don't worry, I can take care of myself.
No, you can't. You're going to get hurt.
I don't need your help. I don't need anybody's help. I'll be just fine.
Are you okay?
With Don King's old hair and Tom Cruise's old uniforms, Charlie Sheen needs help. He also needs another movie, but that's another story. In this story, Sheen is a maverick naval pilot with a chest full of hang-ups and a unique definition of air traffic controller.
I'm at 3rd and Main.
Hot Shots lives and dies by the sight gag. A few are good, like this one, but most of the movie's sight gags can barely pass an eye test.
I'm Jim Pfaffenbach. Everybody calls me Washout.
You're a pilot?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be flying with you.
John Cryer is Sheen's wall-eyed flying buddy, and Valeria Golino is the bass psychiatrist by day and lounge singer by night.
I'll do my best to make him stay.
What's a spoof of Michelle Pfeiffer and the Fabulous Baker Boys doing here? Who knows? But the Baker Boys' dad, Lloyd Bridges, is here to save a scene that would probably fall on its face without him.
My ear canals are very sensitive. They're stainless steel. Took a bullet at Corregidor. Passed straight through. Here. Look at this.
Bridges is the Daffy commanding officer, a veteran of 194 crash landings. With this movie, make that 195. There are 4 or 5 minutes of funny stuff in Hot Shots. That leaves another hour and a half to indulge yourself at the popcorn counter.
So much for that naval adventure. Is Hot Shots hot? No, it's not. It's a C-, and it's rated PG-13. Near the end of the movie, a Saddam Hussein look-alike catches a bomb in his hands. You can catch this bomb of a movie at a theater near you, but I wouldn't advise it.
The olive thing was funny, though.
Well, yes, you can practice at home.
Thanks. Tomorrow night you got Michael J. Fox?
Yes, an interview with Michael J. Fox, who has a really good new movie called Doc Hollywood.
All right. And you take care of yourself. You got a cold.
I have something, but I'm not going to give it to any of you.
Now the winning numbers from Albany. Here's New York's lottery drawing.
Tonight's New York Lotto, brought to you under the observation of an independent auditor from Coopers and Lybrand.
Welcome to New York's Lotto drawing for Wednesday, July 31st, 1991. The balls are in place 1 through 54. Let's get started. Tonight, you could win or share a jackpot of over $4 million, including annuity interest. And now for tonight's winning Lotto numbers. The first winning number is 52. Tonight's second winning number is 14. The third winning number is 8. Tonight's fourth winning number is 26. The fifth winning number is 20, and the sixth winning number to win or share over $4 million is 21. The supplementary number for fourth prize winners only is 6. The winning Lotto numbers are 52, 14, 8, 26, 20, and 21. The supplementary number is 6. For the New York State Lottery, I'm Maxine Gibbs. Thank you, and good night.
Actress Elizabeth Taylor is supposed to walk down the aisle. It's been postponed by only 1 day, though. Taylor announced today that she and Larry Fortensky will be married October 6th instead of October 5th. No reason was given for the change. Still coming up tonight, Channel 9 News, a dramatic ruling in the William Kennedy Smith trial, plus an effort to stop the fur from flying out of stores. All of that coming up.
My father came to this country in 1923. Today, we're still a big family. I never thought about how he managed it all until it was my turn to have children, get a mortgage, and expand the family business. Then I remembered something my father said. Find a bank where the people understand you and stick by you like family. For him, it was Chemical Bank. For me, well, I'm my father's son.
At Giant Carpet, our policy is to beat anyone's prices, which is good news for people who've always liked the feel of wall-to-wall carpeting, but haven't been able to afford it.
Look for the biggest brand names at big savings during the A&P National Brands for Less sale. Pick up our circular and spend less on thick or regular sliced Oscar Mayer bacon, $1.99 a pound. Assorted Kraft salad dressing, 8 ounces, only 59 cents. Super sweet yellow corn, 12 years, $1.69. Delicious top round London broil is also on sale.
With its longer wheelbase, 43 inches of front legroom, power windows and door locks, fuel-injected 16-valve engine, and consistently high resale value, the Honda 4-door Civic LX could easily be the most underpriced car in America.
Meet new cinnamon Quaker Oat squares.
Oh, no. Your whole grain oats, too, plus cinnamon. Sprinkled with brown sugar, plus cinnamon. And I stay crunchy. 2 Quaker Oats squares.
You'll love them.
From square one.
Maurice Valenzi's great summer sale is on now. Don't miss it.
A man is drafted and now must fight for his country and his life. The Bridges at Potpourri. Sunday at 7 on Universal 9.
At 10:29:14, here's a look at tonight's top stories in Southern California. At least now we're told 5 people, maybe 5 to 7, they say, and Associated Press reports are dead. 5 to 7 Girl Scouts and 60 injured in a school bus crash. We'll keep you updated on that. The bus carrying the Girl Scouts rolled off a narrow road outside of Palm Springs. Tonight, late word is that the brakes may have failed on the bus. And a New York-bound Amtrak train derailed this morning in South Carolina, killing 7 people, injuring many others. Reg Wells is live in Penn Station with more.
Penn Station in New York, Roland, and it's pretty quiet here right now, but we're waiting for the passengers from what started out as train number 8292. That train started out with 426 people on board. There were 7 fatalities after that derailment. 76 people were injured, 18 were admitted to hospitals, 58 were treated and released. Now, out of all of that, there will be 187 people arriving here in about 2.5 hours. 38 of them will be getting off in Newark, and the train will be making stops all along the way. Some will be getting off in Baltimore, some in Wilmington, then some stopping in Philadelphia, Trenton, then Newark, and then their final destination here. They'll be about 8 hours late, but they'll be happy to be getting back at all.
Okay, thanks, Red, for that update. Lawyers for Lydia Kennedy Smith have some breathing room tonight. His rape trial has been postponed. Bill Alexander reports from West Palm Beach, Florida.
The senator's nephew and his defense team have succeeded in having the rape trial delayed.
The motion to continue is granted. I'll confer with you folks later about a trial date.
Smith's attorneys say they needed more time to prepare because of recent allegations. Smith was involved in 3 other assaults in 1983 and 1988. And they say the extra time will help them to settle down the carnival-like atmosphere.
We have ice cream now with the names of the bar involved and, of course, the Kennedys. And we have T-shirts that are, even today, are being sold outside the front of the courthouse. And we want to show how all this atmosphere is going to affect this trial.
While the defense says this will indeed affect a jury, experts believe it will be hard for the defense to find anyone who hasn't heard about the case.
Did Willie Smith get a fair trial here in Palm Beach County?
I'm not sure that Willie Smith could get a fair trial anywhere in the country at this point, and I'm not sure that changing a venue from Palm Beach to somewhere else in Florida would matter much. On the other hand, again, lawyers point out to me that if the Iran-Contra defendants and if Watergate defendants could get a fair trial in this country, that so can Willie Smith.
The defense has withdrawn its motion for a change of venue. It now appears the trial will be held in Palm Beach County. Attorneys say all they wanted was a little time for all the publicity to subside. And now they'll get it. In Palm Beach County, I'm Bill Alexander reporting.
Jersey City Mayor Gerald McCann is looking for extra time. The mayor was arraigned in federal court in Trenton today. He pleaded not guilty to fraud charges. The judge set a trial date for September 23rd, but McCann's attorney asked for flexibility on that date. He said the defense needed time to research financial documents. And tonight, 2 important groups have come out against Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas. Jim Gately has the latest now from Washington.
While Judge Clarence Thomas continued meeting with senators who will vote on his nomination, the leaders of the oldest and largest civil rights group met to consider, quote, a difficult decision.
It is therefore with regret that we are compelled to oppose the confirmation of Judge Thomas.
While wanting an Afro-American on the court, the NAACP said Thomas's record showed a lack of aggression in fighting for equal opportunity.
His inconsistent views on civil rights policies, which make him an unpredictable element in an increasingly radical conservative court.
The Congressional Black Caucus also came out against the Thomas nomination. New Jersey's only member of that group said there's no double standard here.
If this person were white, we would be opposed to him. And we feel that we should not have different standards for different people.
After the NAACP rejection, Thomas continued meeting with senators. He refused to comment, but it was obvious it was on his mind.
I have a reaction to it, but I don't think I'm going to share it.
Of course, it's the 100 members of the Senate who will vote on Thomas. Backers claim despite today's rejection, overall, they're doing just fine.
Obviously, we'd like to have the support of 100% of the American people. That's not going to be possible, but I think we're doing very, very well.
There is a split among major civil rights groups over the Thomas nomination. While these endorsements do get a lot of attention, the real decisions on yes or no votes in the Senate are likely to be made after Thomas testifies before Congress in September. In Washington, Jim Gately, Channel 9 News.
Prosecutors say $1 million fur ring has been broken up. Manhattan DA Robert Morgenthau today announced the arrest of 4 people. He said that they were part of a group that stole hundreds of high-quality furs.
A man and woman would go into the store toward the end of the day, pose as customers, ask to see furs or fur coats, then pull a pistol, tie up the people who were serving them, and then go into the back.
Morgenthau alleges hundreds of furs were fenced at a Larchmont Furrier. Several other people have also been arrested in the 6-month investigation. Still coming up on Channel 9, Lloyd with the forecast, and then the latest rave, fingernail art. Plus ranting and raving on the diamond, all of that coming up.
Something that was very wrong. I used to melt when he looked at me. We were so much in love. And then it just turned to ice. Very angry. He took his anger out on me. I only did what I had to do to stay alive.
I'm Molly Scott for Inside Scoop. The Benedict Home for Boys is getting a new music teacher. John Travolta stars in the coming-of-age love story, Shout. More after this.
To find a kidnapped heiress.
Oh, is she all right?
They've hired a natural. And a natural disaster.
I think we're going to make a good team.
Ow.
I am trained in martial arts.
Oh. Only you. Ow. It can only happen to you.
Stay still.
This summer.
No, don't!
Martin Short.
I'm allergic to bee stings.
Danny Glover.
Are you all right?
Fine. And you?
Pure Luck. Rated PG. Starts Friday, August 9th at theaters everywhere.
Travolta encourages Jamie Walters to direct his anger into a passion for music and ends up with a passion for a special lady.
We had a bet. You chicken out?
A bet? A stupid bet? Well, come on, let's win that bet for you.
You better watch yourself, son. That's a deadly weapon you're playing with there.
2 hearts, 1 beat in Shout.
Racial bias resurfaces in Canarsie. Kelly Wright reports on telephone threats made to a real estate office.
Are you okay? Are you frightened? The real estate agents inside this Century 21 Realty office are not talking. But police say threatening phone calls were made to the office several days after another agency was firebombed.
The main emphasis to the complainants of these crimes are that they shouldn't sell their properties to blacks.
Last Saturday, Fillmore Real Estate was firebombed. The office was also torched July 16th. Both attacks were preceded by phone calls threatening violence. Meanwhile, I talked with some residents about the problems.
White people perceive this as being a major problem, and they're afraid. I think basically they're afraid that the black people who are moving into the community might tend to change the community.
I'm surprised because, like I said, this neighborhood is not solely white or solely anything. It's a very mixed area.
Police also say some homeowners who are selling their homes have been told not to show their homes to black buyers. I spoke with homeowners who are aware of the racial tensions in Canarsie.
Next to me is a white neighborhood. We get along together. But, you know, that depends on the person.
The police have established a special hotline for anyone to call with information that might lead to the arrest of those responsible for these acts of racial hatred. The number is area code 718-287-0311. All calls will be kept confidential. At the 6-9 precinct in Canarsie, Brooklyn, I'm Kelly Wright, Channel 9 News.
We have another update for you on that tragedy that happened in Palm Springs where a bus went off a steep embankment, almost a cliff. Girl Scouts were on board. Anywhere from 5 to 7 are dead, more than 50 to 60 injured. On the line now, telephone line from Desert Hospital in Palm Springs, we have Randy Bevilacqua. Mr. Bevilacqua, what can you tell us at the moment about the condition, or how many people do you have at your hospital from this accident?
Well, I can tell you that at 3:40 p.m. Desert Hospital went on disaster call and received shortly thereafter 21 total patients from the accident, of which 13 are listed in fair condition, 7 critical, and we had 1 expire in surgery. We went off disaster call at approximately 6 o'clock p.m. California time.
Mr. Bevilacqua, there has been some conflicting reports from the Associated Press that anywhere from 5 to 7 young Girl Scouts have perished in this accident. Can you in any way let us know what that number is, if you have it?
At this point, I don't know what that number is. I can only confirm 1 death, and that was here at the hospital. The other 2 hospitals in the valley were utilized, and there were also disaster crews on site.
And what will be the process for Desert Hospital for the rest of the evening?
We will do our best to notify all the families involved. At this point, we have notified all of the families that have come into Desert Hospital, but at this time, we're not releasing any names.
Okay, thank you. That's Randy Bevilacqua, spokesperson for Desert Hospital in Palm Springs, where the tragedy happened today, killing 5 to 7 Girl Scouts, injuring many as 50 or 60 as a bus rolled off a steep embankment. To other news now, the Red Cross is asking people to roll up their sleeves and give a little. Brenda Flanagan reports that blood supplies have dangerously lowered in the tri-state area.
Empty couches at Red Cross blood donor centers tell the story.
Right now we're facing a very severe shortage. If it continues or if it gets worse, then hospitals will have to cancel elective surgeries, and the more severe problem that could result is in case of an emergency, the blood just might not be there.
Blood banks report that supplies, particularly types O and B, are low across the tri-state area, but are critically short in South Jersey and in New York City.
The last time we had to call anything that would be called an appeal was during the crash of the Avianca flight in January of 1990. We had a temporary shortage that lasted a couple of days, but we haven't had this kind of emergency appeal in several years.
Why did donors stop coming around? The Red Cross blames summer vacations, the recent heat wave, and Operation Desert Storm.
Basically because they gave during the war and that they didn't feel that it was more imperative for them to come in.
But the Red Cross says the blood given during the war is basically gone, and it's asking people to give again.
One hospital spokesman who asked not to be identified told Channel 9 that if a major medical emergency occurred, they'd run out of blood, and that won't change unless donations increase. In Cherry Hill, I'm Brenda Flanagan, Channel 9 News.
All right, we're running a little tight tonight, Lloyd, because of all these breaking stories, so go to it with the weather.
All right, let's get it on. Thank you very much, Roland. Here's what we have right now for you tonight. Good evening, everybody. We're going to heat up around here, but first of all, 77, our humidity 75%, southwest 7 on the wind, 30 inches dropping on the barometer. Hey, I've got a Lloyd Lindsay Young hello in Newark tonight. Want to wish Donna Tombury a happy birthday from Scott. And hello to Phil Bloom, 72nd birthday, a volunteer at Sea Caucus Hospital. We'll be back, Meadowlands Hospital, actually. We'll be back with a lot of stuff. Yep.
Through the years, you've never let me down. You've turned my life around. The sweetest days I found with you. Through the years.
From dishwashers to refrigerators, a KitchenAid will last.
Through the years.
Now get up to $100 cash back on selected KitchenAid models. See your dealer for details.
Through the years.
No. What I want is real life frustration, anxiety. You're an actor. You're late for an audition, but you've got to get to the bank. And that line is a mile long. So you race to the cash machine. It's out of cash. Okay? You got it? Sorta. What? You never had a cash machine run out of cash before? So where is your bank? Mars?
Well, actually, it's...
NatWest, raising the standards of banking.
How long's he been in there?
I don't know, 6, maybe 7 days.
Sir!
His name is Danny.
Danny, this is the fire department. Come out of that bathroom.
Yeah.
Not until the Honda Summer Deal-a-thon is over. Honda's having a summer deal-a-thon? You mean I can get a good deal on an Accord wagon with fuel injection and driver's side airbag?
Danny, come out now, or I'm calling a policeman.
Great. What'll he buy, a Prelude?
Danny.
This summer, over 1 million people will stop at Exxon and come up winners.
I'm so excited.
They'll play Win with the Tiger and win instant cash. 4 years of free Phase 4 gasoline and 4 years of free flights on Continental Airlines.
I'm so excited.
Try new Phase 4 gasoline. Play Win with the Tiger, and you can come up a winner, too.
All right, everybody, here's what's cooking tonight. Weak high pressure moving into the tri-state area. Going to give us a nice day, although it is going to be heating up as the southerly flow takes over. This weak cold front out around Chicago is going to take till probably late Friday to get here. In the meantime, heavy rains to the south. Florence, South Carolina, 4.5 inches, 195 at Jacksonville, Florida. And heat down in Texas, 103 San Antone, 99 at Corpus Christi, 112 at Laredo. Tropical moisture flowing out west. Rare San Diego rain, yeah, 1/4 inch or so. Almost unheard of this time of the year. And cold spot 39, again up in Montana. Local radar, nothing happening. A few showers down around Delaware, Northern Virginia, but nothing really to shout about in the local area. The bigger picture, look at Florida. Every day they've been getting pasted lately. Now the West Coast is getting it tonight. And then the arc of precipitation shifting up to Georgia, Carolinas. A few light showers out in Illinois. That's with that next front that's coming in. Maybe by late Friday we could catch a shower. And here's all the action out in Kansas. How about rainfall for the month of July? 455. That's a little above normal. On the year, Central Park, 2597, about 1.25 inches above normal. Here's how our forecast is shaping up tonight. Overnight, clear, 70 in the city, 60s in the suburbs. Tomorrow, kind of hot. Got to be honest with you. Tomorrow will be about 90. Tomorrow night, it will be in the 70s. Here's our 5-day now. Take a look at it. 91 on Friday, maybe an isolated late-day thunderstorm. Then as we get on into Saturday, 91 again. Cooler Sunday, a little bit. Mid-80s, scattered thunderstorms Sunday. Then really cooling off early next week down into the upper 70s. So a little bit of heat, but nothing compared to what we had 10 days ago or so. Roland?
Thank you, Lloyd. You like art, don't you?
Oh, certainly. He's a nice guy. Oh, that art.
Oh, set us up for that one. Well, if you enjoy art, the real kind, you no longer have to go to an art gallery. It seems now it's as close as your fingertips. Robert Miller is here with the story.
Well, we want to talk about nail art, which began to get popular about 5 years ago. Today, there are beauty classes which teach it as a specialty.
After the background colors have been airbrushed on, the design is applied. Anything goes at that point. Some of the designs are stenciled in. That may be supplemented with some freehand brushing. In this case, a palm tree on a moonlit beach. Who commissions nail artists?
The younger crowd, between the ages of 20 and like 30. My older crowd just gets plain manicures.
But these miniature canvases are relatively large appendages. Do they get in the way?
That you get used to it. So I could type, I could do anything with them. They do break, but I can more or less handle it.
She says she can type 70 words a minute with those nails. It takes this artist about 5 minutes to complete a nail picture or design. She charges anywhere from $2 to $15 a nail. Some artists get $75 per nail. There are other types of nail artistry, too. If she didn't have a sister in the business, how much would this young lady spend?
About $50 a week I would spend.
$50 a week to have your nails done like that?
Yeah.
Don't you think that's a little exorbitant?
No. It looks good.
I suppose you're an art lover then. I mean, you go to museums and look at sculpture and paintings and stuff?
No.
Just nail art, that's it?
Yeah.
Now, there is a practical advantage to nail art. It lasts about 3 weeks, as opposed to just a week or so for regular nail enameling. Roland?
Is this something, I mean, couldn't you paint them on yourself if you want. Not you specifically, but...
Well, why not? I suppose you could do it yourself, but the lady who does it told me that for her to do it on her own nails, it would take about an hour, as opposed to doing it in 5 minutes on someone else's.
It's still, it's $50 or $60 cheaper.
Well, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I'm glad I don't have daughters, I think. Russ is up next with sports, and you do have daughters.
Yes, I do, but the only nails I worry about are the ones you buy at the hardware store you bang into wood. Anyway, tonight we've got the Mets trying to win out in L.A., while at home, Yankees get bombed.
Strike the count. Oh! And he drives this one high and deep into right center field, and that ball is gone.
Angelo, you gotta see this. DiGiorno pasta.
That's pasta from a grocery store.
It's in a refrigerated case.
Tortellini, ravioli, 4 cheese sauce, marinara.
DiGiorno must have read our menu. And taste.
Uh-oh.
If people can make pasta this good at home, why come here?
Ambiance?
For restaurant taste at your place, DiGiorno.
You were just lucky today. Hey, I've been working on it. You know how I hate to lose. You know what else? I hate losing my hair. Me too. That's why I did something about it. I called up John. They sent me a brochure. I went to see my doctor. It was definitely a smart move. Now I feel great. I think I still have it. Upjohn even sent me $10 after I saw my doctor. Here it is.
Only your doctor has hair loss treatment programs proven to work. To receive your $10 certificate, names of doctors in your area who can recommend what's best for you, and a free brochure describing your options, call 1-800-288-7134.
Not bad. Maybe I'll call him. What do you mean, maybe? Come on, there's the number. Go do it. All right. I'll call.
For your $10 certificate, simply call toll-free 1-800-288-7134. Because the sooner you act, the sooner you could see results. So call right now.
Meet new cinnamon Quaker Oat squares.
Oh, no. Your whole grain oats, too? Plus cinnamon. Sprinkled with brown sugar? Plus cinnamon. And I stay crunchy. 2 Quaker Oats squares.
You'll love them.
From square one.
Maurice Valenci's great summer sale is on now. Don't miss it.